the Shen and Shan Show, where Shenice, my mom,
and Shan the Pam
interview with LGBTQ plus professionals and entrepreneurs.
So let's get giddy and start the show.
All right. Hey, Leah, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. Shan, how's it going?
Dandy.
Dandy. All right. Dandy. Hey, so my name is Shenice.
And I'm Shan.
And this is the Shen and Shan Show. And we have a really special guest today. Her name is Leah Sperisen, and coming all the way from North Carolina, right?
Woo woo, yeah.
Amazing. So, Leah, today, of course, we want to really dive in and talk more about you as an individual and a business. But before we do that, please give us the rundown of your life story in just, a few minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I'm definitely going to try. So I'll just start with a little mini intro. So my name is Leah. I am 29 years old. I am a teacher / entrepreneur. I'm currently living in Bull City in North Carolina. So let's try and start my life story. So I was born in Indiana, but raised in New Mexico in the desert. Let's see, I was there pretty much the rest of my childhood. I went to university there, to New Mexico State University. I graduated there with a bachelor's degree in early childhood education and a minor in psychology and family child science. And so once I graduated, I actually worked at Denny's for a while. I was a waitress because I could not find a job, okay? The struggle of college graduates is real.
It is real, 100%.
Waitress, girl. I was getting those tips. I was filling coffee. I was bringing out stacks and biscuits and gravy.
That's it. I mean, a lot of people, I remember I used to work at Cheesecake Factory, and there were a lot of college graduates, master's degree graduates who would still work as a waitress or a waiter because the money was better. I mean, the struggle is real. So I completely concur with that.
How is the school system in New Mexico, right?
Yes, the school system it's decent. We're not very high on the list of quality of education. Teachers are paid terrible in New Mexico. So
what's terrible?
I think, I don't remember exactly, but I think they started at like $30K.
Ooh, okay.
Like that.
And we're in the Houston area. We're teachers, a lot of teachers starting
Yeah, but
in the
she's
Houston
probably
area.
talking about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while though.
Yeah.
So it probably has changed.
Yeah, 5-6 years ago when I was already teaching, but I started off at 52.
What?
Yeah. Now we're starting teachers here in Texas. They're around 60.
Not just Texas. I mean, it depends on the area.
Yeah.
This is the Houston area.
Yeah.
Every county is going to be very different in pay. So, for example, some of the counties out towards Austin area pay less. They're more in the 40s. Whereas Houston area, they start a lot higher. So,
More rural
Right.
areas in Texas pay less, but if you're in a metroplex city type setting, then you're definitely getting paid in the high 50s, almost 60s.
Anyways, back to your life story. Yes, childhood education.
I'm gonna have to write that down.
Yes, move to Texas.
But so after working at Denny's, I was done. I was like, you know what? I need to move somewhere else with more opportunities. So I actually moved to Phoenix, Arizona. And I got a really good job there, actually. I was working for the state. First, I'm kind of like a job hopper, as it's just my life. I like to try out different things. So first,
well, I mean, you got to try different things to figure out where you fit, right? I think, Mm-hmm.
That's just me as a person. And also, I think it's really good to do that. So first I started in Arizona, I was a paralegal, and then I was a social worker for a while for the state. And then I finally found my groove. I was doing early intervention. So I was like a therapist for children with autism, Down syndrome, like if they had speech delays, developmental delays. I was like an early childhood specialist for that company. And I actually really liked that because it was like the best of both worlds. It was better, it paid better than teaching, and I was still able to work with kids, which is my passion. So
Right.
I did that for a while. And then I was in like this terrible relationship. It was like 4 years of just messiness. And I decided to leave the country. I moved to Switzerland and I taught there. I taught preschool at an international school for a year. It was interesting. I'll say that. It was interesting. The people were strange. But the experience was great though, living in another country. It was really great. But so after that, I knew I wanted to leave. I was like, the people are strange here. I'm ready to go. So I just started like stacking my chips, stacking my money, started like budgeting, because I knew like because once I was on the other side of the world, I was like, wow, I want to explore more.
Right.
So I saved money, and then once I made like a comfortable amount, I left and I started traveling. Just me, myself, and I had this big old backpack, and I was just hopping from country to country, living my best life, honestly.
That's amazing. That's so brave. I don't think I would ever be able to do that. I'd just be like, oh, where's my life? But that's good. I wish that I would be able to grab a backpack and just do that. Like that, I'm envious that you can do that and I can't. Like, I'd love to do that.
I'm a small country girl, so, and I just, my first time ever getting on a plane was 2 years ago. So and
first time her getting on a boat was 2 years ago too. We went on a cruise, yeah. Mm-hmm. She's had a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was great, but I will say towards the end, I started to have that feeling like, what is going on? Like I needed to, like I felt lost because I was just, just roaming around. I didn't really have much purpose. So I started to feel lost. I came back to the States at that time. And that's when I met my partner. And she kind of like grounded me. Since we were together, like I couldn't travel. So like, but it was such a good thing because she forced me to like, it was like she snapped me back into reality. Because I mean, some people do travel around for their whole life, but I'm not that person. That is not my purpose. So then I got a job as a kindergarten teacher, and it was a rough year. It was a lot of work, but I absolutely loved it. Like it was definitely.
Oh, yeah, teaching is not easy work at all.
It's not, but it is definitely rewarding, and that I definitely needed that in my life. And it really, I don't know, it just made me feel really good about myself. I had a really successful teaching year. I really reached the kids. I had great relationships, so it was very rewarding. Yeah. And now I'm here. COVID happened. It flipped my life upside down, but on the upside, it gave me time to like really dig deep into what I want as far as my future plans. So that's why I started my company, LoveLeahOrganics, because, I dug deep into myself and said, what, I do love working with kids, but as far as longevity, I definitely I just want to build that wealth and have assets to my name in any capacity. Like I want to have a family at some point, and I want to be able to have more to give to them. I want, like, generational wealth has been really important to me recently.
And we love that. Like that's what we focus on. So our careers, we focus on helping individuals and families get assets. So real estate,
Right.
we're both real estate agents. So we help them, you know, start out their life, whether it be their first home, their second home, third home, or maybe it's their investment properties. So we help people with that, as well as the financial education and literacy piece. We focus on educating our community, and you know, we love to talk about the personal finance piece of things, because most of our families are not protected. They don't have, you know, protections in place when it comes to savings. Right. You know, they don't, people are living paycheck to paycheck, right? They don't have life insurance. You know, a lot of people don't understand the different types and how it ties into being wealthy. You know, people just think, oh, it's all about death. It's not, you know. And then we educate on the retirement piece. You know, you spend your life working and saving and investing so that there is a point that comes in your lifetime that you can say, well, this is all optional. You know, I don't have to work if I don't want to, you know. So we spend a lot of time with people planning those type of things out, putting their IRAs and retirement plans, 403Bs in place, so that we can say, okay, you do things this way, we're going to project that when you come out on the other side, this is what you're looking at, and is that satisfactory to you, you know?
It's all about education, and I think because we're not educated about it, we see it as complex when it's really simple. We just have to take the time to educate ourselves.
We do, and it's our responsibility to educate ourselves, because these are things they don't teach in schools, you know.
1,000%.
I know you're a kindergarten teacher, but I mean, across the board, you know, you probably wouldn't be teaching these things in kindergarten, even though hints of it wouldn't hurt. But even even going to college, you're not learning this, right?
I taught high school, pretty much every math subject in high school, and we really didn't touch on it. Like, I mean, they kind of, we have something in Texas called math models, and it kind of focuses on trying to teach you about interest rate, but they only put the kids in that course if they did not pass geometry. So and then it was like a class just to get you through, right? So it wasn't taken seriously at all during the time I was teaching. Now, I've been out of education for 3 or 4 years now, so it could have changed, but I know when I was in there, it wasn't anything like that. So
I mean, I just love that you're talking about and thinking about generational wealth, you know, it's just to put those things in place. So let's dig into your career. So why did you choose this specific career? Why did you choose to study, you know, early childhood education? Why did you decide, you know what, I want to be a teacher and I want to work with kids?
You know, it's cheesy and cliche, but I really think it like chose me. Like, my mom like shoved it down my throat because she saw me as a child. Like, my favorite toy was my chalkboard, and she was like, I would do class with my teddy bears, with my Barbies, even with my little sister. She like hated me because I made her do school with me. I gave her like worksheets and recess, and it was, you know, and I went off that path for a while because I was like, you know what, no, you know, teaching is not going to get me where I want to be, you know, financially. But I always went back to it. So in early childhood, you know, I have a lot of patience, and I truly love working with young children because it's like I get them when they're like a blank slate almost, and it's really like humbling to be able to have that impact on them. Like, I get to teach them how to write. I get to teach them how to read for the first time. I get to teach them, you know, all the foundations that they're going to use for the rest of their life. And it's really beautiful to cultivate that. And I've just fallen in love with that, just being
I've
able
never heard it explained quite like that. I've never even thought about it that way, but that's so amazing. You start with a blank slate, you know, when they are still so impressionable, when they're still sponges,
Yeah.
and you teach them basic life skills. I mean, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I think it get lost somewhere after, you know, elementary school, middle school. I think it get lost, and in high school, as a high school teacher, you kind of felt like you wasn't making a difference. And I had to learn after they graduated. That's when I saw my impact on those students, right? Because then I would run into them, and you know, they come up to me and say, "Thank you for you know being this person that stayed on me, and you know, I'm at this point because of you, in a sense." And so, yeah, I mean, teaching does have its perks. It just, you really
be
have a,
rewarding.
yeah. And so, yeah. So I take my hat off to you. I just
thank
gotta
you.
step away, but I'm still educating. So, yeah.
Just in a different way.
Right.
Not in the public school
Exactly.
system. Okay, so you went to school for it. Well, you were saying that you got off track for a little bit. So what made you return to say, you know what, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to study this? What was the difference?
I'm not really sure. Honestly, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Like as far as going off track, I was just that kid in college. Like I was undeclared the whole time.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Undecided. Everybody had their like life plan, and I was like, I'm still undecided. Like my degree plan said, like undecided for like the whole time until like the last semester. My advisor was like, okay, I mean, it's serious. You're supposed to like I had like so many credits of like BS classes because I couldn't decide what I wanted to do.
And that's, I think,
That's so real.
for, because I think you're still considered a millennial, right?
Oh yeah, I'm still a millennial.
Okay, so I feel like it's gonna be a little different now for Generation Z.
Yeah.
Because they're actually going back to the trade school type of teaching, where they can actually already have a social degree when they graduate, and kind of, you know, start molding them when they're in middle school. So I think we'll see a difference now, because they have to change it, because like many of us millennials, we get out of school, we didn't know what to do or where to go.
Oh,
And so,
definitely. I 100% love those schools who have those programs embedded where in high school you can already start looking at different fields, different, you know, trades. You can start taking college classes. I wish I had that opportunity, because once I was thrown into college, I was like, I felt this pressure to decide, but I truly had no idea what I wanted to do. And I think also it was very overwhelming to think about, I have to do one thing for the rest of my life. And that kind of like haunted me, you know, because that's what society does. It pressures you. It says, okay, you're going to college, you're going to get this one piece of paper, and this piece of paper says you only do this one thing for the rest of your life, and you retire, and then you die. And I was like,
that's not me.
No. I want to do this, and this, and this, and this. And so I was just bouncing around, my career, my degree, my major changed so many times. It was crazy.
Okay.
I know everybody was tired of seeing me in their advising offices. What's wrong with this girl? But so it honestly, like, I ended up settling. Well, at that time, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go with education. But I'm definitely glad I did, because it's like, regardless of what I do, it's truly like a safety net.
Yeah.
Financially, there's always a job teaching. So I can go off. I feel secure enough to go off and try different fields, and to, do this, this passion right now with starting a business, because if all else fails, you
can always go back to teaching.
There's always money to be made, and then I can bounce and do something else. Like, it's a safety net, and I'm very grateful for that, to have that, financial. It's like, it truly feels like a safety net.
So what does your day look like as a teacher, right? If someone's, considering, oh, maybe I should be a teacher, I know we're in COVID-19 pandemic right now, and you've probably started summer vacation by now, possibly.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So Tell me what teaching is like. What does your day look like outside of coronavirus, and what does it look like inside of coronavirus? So just so we can get an idea.
So outside of coronavirus, it was early start, 6 a.m. I was up getting ready. We had an early start school, which elementary is usually early. We started at 7:15. So
okay, so you need to be at your desk at 7:15.
Yes. So I was out the door usually 6:45. But there's always prep work to be done in elementary school. So getting there earlier, the better, so I can make copies and such. But yeah, the day was very hectic. Kindergarten is very hectic because we jam all these subjects into like a 7, I don't even think it's 7 hours because of lunch and recess. So it's like 6.5 hours, but we're jamming every subject in there. So it is very hectic. You have to be able to have like just a quick pace. Your mind has to be able to readjust because you're doing literacy and then the next second you're doing a science experiment. And then right next after that, you're doing math. And
on top of dealing with the needs of the kids.
Oh, and on top of, can you tie my shoe? I need a Band-Aid. I miss my mommy.
Yeah.
So-and-so called me a boo-boo head. I'm like, girl.
Okay, so you have all these needs. It's packed in. Are you the only teacher in the classroom? Are there multiple teachers? How many kids are you teaching? What are some of those specifics?
So I teach at a Title I school. If anybody knows anything about that, it's like
low poverty, low
teaching
economic.
very low poverty kids, very low poverty community. The school doesn't have much funding. They're like, if you don't get your stuff together, we're gonna like pull all your
over. Yeah.
Right, game over. So unfortunately we don't have a lot of support. So luckily I had a smaller class. I had 16 kids. It was just me. I had an assistant, but very rarely had her. But yeah, it was a definitely tough. It's tough to work in a Title I school. You definitely have to be emotionally prepared, mentally prepared, because at a Title I school, you're not just a teacher. You're like a social worker. You're like mom. You are mom, dad, older sister. You're everything to these kids. So it's emotionally draining, but definitely like I've never felt a reward like that, to know that you truly just being there every day for them, for some of those kids, is like major for them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so how have things changed now that you were stay at home, working at home order especially for kindergarten?
Right.
What does that look like?
Well, it was terrible because kindergartners on Zoom is
right.
I'm like, okay, guys, let's go over your sight words. And then like 2 kids are on their trampoline. One kid is like, look at my dog. And the other kid is like, sleepy. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it was terrible, honestly. But
well, again, y'all are not trained to do that, right? So
yeah.
Obviously it was just kind of, it could probably be a little bit better if you had time to prepare and the training to prepare, and also prepared the kids as well, right? Yeah. So it's just kind of by whim, and unfortunately, that's where we are as a country. Where, do you even know if you're going back to in classroom?
We don't even know. That's the crazy part. There's no plans set for next year. We don't know if it's going to be online, if we're going to have like partitions in the classroom, and like we're all
especially at a Title I school. Can they even get the funding to get those desks with the partitions and all the things that you need in order for Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that's like that's definitely been a big like stress on me, because without knowing, I have no idea what I'm up against. I have no idea what next year is going to look like. So yeah, I'm just gonna, it sucks, but it's like, I really have been having to just take it day by day and just wait for them to say something. And then I'm just gonna have to jump.
On average, on video, how many of your kids are actually showing up?
Well, that was the biggest issue because of the poverty levels. I literally had 3-4 kids on average because, you know, it's very sad because these kids are getting left out. They don't have internet, they don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have a device. Even if they have a device, their parents are, you know, essential workers. They work those 9-to-5 jobs, like work at a gas station, they work at fast food restaurants,
retail, supermarkets.
The essential workers.
The essential workers that we, you know, definitely, it's opened my eyes, like, wow, definitely take these people for granted. They're out here working, so nobody, like, their kids are still at daycare or their kids are with some family member somewhere. So I've literally had like 3 or 4 of my kids. So, and that's honestly, sadly, what next year would look like if we're still online because of the area that I work in.
So does North Carolina have what we have here in some of the Texas school where it's, every kid gets a laptop?
So unfortunately, it's not. They are working on that, they say. But yeah, I'm like, I've been like a junkie on like watching the board meetings because I'm like, I just want to know what's going on. So I'm always watching the board meetings, and they're like always talking about the budget, and it's like going to cost like 20 million, and I'm like, they're not getting 20 million. We're not getting these laptops.
Right.
But yeah, definitely, it's crazy to think there's a lot of school districts that have that privilege, and that's amazing. And it's crazy that the whole country as a whole is not on the same level as far as education. I feel like we should all have like the same funding.
Right.
You know?
Right. No, I hear you 100%.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess this is what your day looks like. What time does your day end?
So when I was, you know, before COVID, my day would never end. You know how that is. Teacher life, your day never ends. Never ends. Goodness. Yeah, I cannot say there's end date. Truly, if you want to be a teacher, you have to be in it for the right reasons. Because
100%. Yeah, definitely.
Your life is gonna change.
Especially when you're teaching in a low economic area school, because, and I don't know what they call it in North Carolina, but if you're what we call improvement required, which is IR, I mean, that's even more stress because all the documentation you got to keep up with. So
So what time do you get home? Maybe I should phrase it that way. What time do you get home to continue working?
Well, you know, I used to be that teacher. I was at the school until so our kids left at 2, but I was that teacher that stayed until 4:30.
Okay.
But after a while, you know, I had to like, you know, get on my self-care vibes, realize, you know, what I need to, you know, for my mental health. So I started just, you know, taking my work home because I would rather be in my space where, I can have my glass of wine and work on lesson plans, or just be able to be with my partner or to sit outside. So I would come home earlier, like, you know, after the kids left, but I was still working.
Right. Okay. And now you've embarked on a new venture with Leah LoveLeahOrganics. Tell me all about that. Where did that idea come from? What made you start? What does that look like for you? Because this is more of your entrepreneurship bug, right?
So, you know, I have probably for the past 2 years, I've been making my own hair care products. Number 1, because of accessibility. Number 2, because of price. You know, like natural hair care products are expensive, extremely expensive. And I just couldn't like really rationalize that. So I would start to look up, you know, DIY, you know, home recipes. And, you know, when I did it, I actually got good results. I was like, hey, okay, I don't need to spend, you know, $20 on this little tub.
You hear that, Shan? Well, Shan, she will lately.
I'm growing. So it's getting.
Well, I tell her. Well, let me not tell her. Shan went and got this blueberry.
It's Curls. The brand is Curls. They sell it at.
Oh, I've seen that one.
And it's like blueberry whatever, but how much?
Blueberry bliss or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's
and
like $15 a bottle.
Yeah, it's like $15 a bottle, and they're not big bottles or anything. And don't get me wrong, you know, you get what you pay for typically. So
You do.
the price is higher. It's typically higher quality ingredients and all the whole shebang. And what's funny is we went walking on a trail one day, and she just started using this new shampoo and conditioner. She's loving the blueberry smells and everything. And it was kind of darker, and so we were walking on this trail. And you know those, like, they're not fruit flies, like those little gnats that they're in like this swarm of just, you know,
lights.
And they were following her head. Like I was standing right next to her, and they were all swarming her head because of this blueberry smell. It went so natural for her. But anyways, she's that person who is buying those natural hair care type products because, you know, she loves when her hair feels a certain way and, you know, looks a certain way and has a certain sheen.
Yeah,
and
curl definition is important.
I feel you. You gotta get these curls popping. I understand. Yeah.
This show is supported by Empower Financial, where we help you protect, grow, and build wealth through life insurance and retirement planning.
At a minimum, everyone, protect your family with at least 10 times your income in permanent life insurance. Have a safety net in case you become ill, or you can use the cash value in retirement as tax-free income. So reach out to us from our website at www.empowerfinanciallife.com or click the link in the show notes.
Yeah. So, you know, that is part of it that, you know, ignited that in me because, you know, it's not that I definitely love to support Black businesses. So, you know, I started only purchasing from Black-owned hair care products, but still, it was fun for me, honestly. And secondly, I'm actually vegan. So I wanted to branch out and also, you know, veganism as part of like products. Cause there's like people who are like plant-based just for like food. And then there's people who are like vegan as part of like their whole life, like their clothes are vegan. And,
right.
And I don't want to be that extreme, but I also kind of wanted to venture out and try some things. So to make products myself, I knew what was going into it. So yeah, I decided to just do it. I was also looking at different streams of income because that's been really important to me for, you know, building that generational wealth. So this was like my idea. I was like, okay, I'm going to start off, you know, doing my own business so I can have a second stream of income. Also summer is coming up, and in North Carolina, we don't get paid as teachers over the summer. What? Yeah. So we're on like a 10-month salary.
Oh, 10 pay. So y'all get all up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do something over the summer, and this was my idea. So I started messing around with ingredients, you know, doing lots of research, learning about different, you know, ingredients, different herbs. And it just came alive. I just have been jotting notes down in like my journal. I have like a journal where I like come up with all my ideas, and I just went for it. And it's actually been pretty successful. So I'm really excited about that and excited about like the possibilities.
That's amazing. So how long has it been since you've launched, and what has been like, tell me, what did you do when you launched? How did you market it? What does your customer look like? You know, where's your business coming from? Tell me all about that.
So I actually, it's been about 3 weeks. So it's very
new.
Yeah.
It's that new. That's awesome.
It's very new. It's been 3 weeks, and I started, just on social media, reaching out, and
On your personal page?
yeah, my personal page. I also made a separate Facebook page. I made a separate Instagram page. I made basically all of social media. I made a separate page for my business, and just have been promoting through there. And I'm very grateful to have like friends and family who have purchased it, and they have spread the word, so it's been like spread by
word of mouth.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So it's like their family members have purchased, or their friends have purchased, and then recently, probably like the past week, like my Instagram has really been getting some views. So now like most of my purchases are purely coming from like my own marketing on social media, which is really cool to see. Just
and
because
you
it's
said
like,
your
wow,
own personal page, or did you wind up creating one specifically for the business?
yeah, I created one specifically for the business.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, so my clientele, I have, of course, I'm marketing towards like natural hair, for people of color, any race, but also I've kind of tried to keep my products so they're for all hair types as well, because just as far as like business, I don't want to like limit myself to one niche, because you can get more revenue from being accessible to all races and ethnicities. So like I've tried to make my products so that they can be used by any race. But there are some
even in this little niche, we have so many different types of hair, even within, if we're talking about the Black community, like Shan's hair, I always tell her that she doesn't have real Black hair, as she has like I do, because her hair texture is like, I don't know. It's very loose curl. Loose curl. It's very, very loose curl.
Which is like a 3C,
Possibly
4A, 3C, 4A.
I think she has like
What? Y'all talking a whole nother language.
And I know this because I used to be the person who was like online on the forums trying to figure out the DIY for my hair. I was trying to get, and I had relaxed hair. I locked my hair in early 2019. So I've been locked for about a year and a half.
Oh,
and
cool.
Thank God I did, because I don't even remember my hair natural, but my hair natural is so thick and unmanageable. I was not even willing to do that, because I personally, I don't necessarily have time to say today's hair day. No. I'm not having a whole 12 to 24 hour session just for my hair every week. I just couldn't do it. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get back in touch with my roots. I want to get locks. I'm going to get it locked. And I got my hair locked because I can't handle my hair. It's too much. And, but anyways, there's just so many different textures. Whereas, Shan, she's natural and she can just, wash her hair every day and condition and just smooth the comb through it, and it's all fine. And that is not my hair. So, but now that I'm locked, I do need to get products. I've been learning more and more about lock care specifically. Mine are interlocked, so I don't use any of the like retwisting, like everything. It's like almost permanent. It's similar to sister locks. It's like,
oh, okay,
like tiny knots all along my hair. So it's not the same as like palm roll.
The palm roll.
I didn't want that, because I said, you know what, if I want to get my hair wet or if I want to wash my hair, I don't want to have to worry about it untwisting. I want to do this. Like, I want to completely, but now I need like, clear products. So like Shan's products that she bought, she asked me if I used her blueberry curls products. And I was like, no, because it's creamy. And what I've learned is if it's creamy, if it has like a cream base, it leaves more residue in the lock. Exactly. So I need like clear products like the aloe and glycerin and those type of ingredients. But anyways,
I used to use Camille Rose.
Camille Rose, yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, no, definitely we gotta go check out your Instagram.
Yes.
'Cause
Yes.
I'm definitely trying to not cut my hair because I used to be low taper wave.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to grow it out. I want to try the dread journey.
She's not gonna survive. She thinks she's gonna get locks.
I just have a tiny head.
If she gets it, she gonna have it maximum 30 days, and it's
That's
gone.
hilarious.
No, I literally wash my hair every day. So
Yeah, she does. She does.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyways, yeah, so that's really cool. I love that you've embarked on this new journey, and it's so good to hear and see that your community has been so supportive. I mean, that's just amazing. So like, what's your cadence with like social media and stuff?
No, I was just gonna ask, because you are dealing with people that do you feel like your sexuality plays a part in if they're gonna buy and not buy it from you? Is that something that you worry about?
Not at all. Definitely not at all. Because I wouldn't even want customers that don't support me. And I mean, as of now, it's like a second line of income. So it's not like my food to eat. So I'm like, shoot, if you don't want to buy it, then don't. I don't care.
I just wanted to ask that because I know some people that might listen to the podcast might think about that, and it might be a fear of theirs. And I just want people to know, like, don't let people keep you back from your.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm 100% about that. Be true to yourself. 1,000%. Like, the right people will support you. The right people will be there. And yeah, that's never luckily been an issue for me. I definitely faced my fair share of discrimination and racism and homophobia, but I'm here because I didn't care about that. I cared about the people who were there for me, and they helped me be where I am today. Like, I don't care about them because they're not affecting me.
Right.
So I definitely believe I hope everyone can do that in some capacity, because you don't have to worry. As long as you are a good person, then you have nothing to worry about. The right people will be around and will support you, and you will be where you need to be.
Right. Now, on that note, so for LoveLeahOrganics, are you out in that business, or is it just, I know you're just launched. Do you have any type of, I don't know, LGBTQ branding, or is it pretty much more focused on just your community, your sphere of influence, and, the customers you're attracting?
It's just like me as a person, I don't feel the need to put like LGBT into everything that I do, but I'm also not the type to hide. Like, for example, Tiffany and I, we're gonna go to the farmer's market and do face-to-face sales for the first time, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah,
and she's gonna come with me, and it's not like, so stuff like that, I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
Like, you can be like, oh, Tiffany, I don't know if you should come because I want people. Like, I don't care. She's gonna be here. She's gonna be my hair model. So I'm gonna try these products on her.
That's
like
awesome.
this is my partner. So I'm not. So that's kind of how I live my life. So of course, like, it's not in my branding. It's not part of my website. I don't have like a rainbow flag, but just know, like, my partner is going to be with me a lot. Right.
Like, no, 100%. I mean, a lot of companies are owned by LGBTQ individuals, but we don't necessarily know exactly what their personal life is like, or, that they are of the community. Now, what about as a teacher? Are you out as a teacher?
I am, definitely am. Like, my like teammate teachers definitely know about me. My principal knows, my kids know. It was definitely kind of hard for me, actually, to come out because of where I live currently. If I didn't live in North Carolina in the Bible Belt, I wouldn't have been so nervous. But because, like, I had a few kids who were like the pastors, like grandkids, like, stuff like that. It was it's deeply rooted here.
Right.
And, but you know what, again, I knew that I want to be true to myself, and also I definitely feel a responsibility to create safe spaces in my career. So, statistically, at least one of my students is going to be gay. So, me coming out and being myself in front of them, if that's going to help them when they're older, then shoot, whatever, people can look at me different if they want. But that's, my responsibility as an educator. So I was nervous, but I definitely came out to them. I came out with just bringing Tiffany in. I told them that I was going to have like a special guest, because they're kindergartners, they nosy. They've been asking me like, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have kids? So I was like, no, I don't have a boyfriend. So I decided to like come out to them with Tiffany. I was like, I have a special guest who's going to come and read a book to you. So I did like I kind of prepped them. So we read a book about like different types of families, and there was families with like 2 moms, a single dad, like different types of families. And I told them, hey, like you're going to meet a member of my family today who might, in our family might be different than your family. But, all families are different, and it's perfectly fine. So that's when I introduced her. She came in and read a book, and I was like, this is a member of my family. This is my fiance. So it's me, my fiance, and my dog who live in our house together, and just explain it to them that way. And they're like, okay, so what book is she gonna read? Like, they didn't even care. They're like, okay, so she gonna read this book, or
because kids, they don't have necessarily all of these preconceived notions like our society does, right? They're so
they barely know what gender is. Period.
Yeah, they don't see it in a negative
right.
way. Luckily, I mean, if they're not, pressured by their families at this young age, then they're like, okay, cool. You have a fiance, she's a girl. That's great. Okay, let's move on. So and
spend any time on it, like
right, they're just like,
okay.
They're like really pressed about the book. They're like, okay, so but the book, is she gonna read it? Like, reading the book. I was like, oh, okay. So it was really beautiful. It really like made me tear up, because I was like, wow, kids are really beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, they always surprise me.
The innocent.
Yeah, so ever since then, like, she came on the field trips. She was like my field trip chaperone, and she always came in and to bring me like my coffee in the morning.
Oh,
got something, and they loved to see her. And they would always, ask about her. Like,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. And now what about like, obviously you're engaged, right? So what are the other relationships in your life? So that's for work. What's your relationship like with your partner, your mom, dad, or moms, any type of influences you have in your life? What's that like?
Well, with my partner is great. We just kind of like, we're just like best friends. It's really been a journey, but it really feels so natural since like our first date. It's like we're just inseparable. It's like we just fit. It's like 2 puzzle pieces. And she's just so supportive. Like, I've never had that. Like, she's 100% on board with anything that I do, and everyday life. She's just so supportive. And my parents love her. They've seen me through some trenches. So they're like, it's so beautiful, because it's like they knew she was good for me. They met her once, and they're like, oh yeah, this is it. So that's been pretty good. Like,
And so you are out to your parents and everything like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. When did you come out to your parents? What was that like? And have y'all had to work on the relationship any to get from when you came out to introducing them to a girlfriend?
So yeah, I came out very young at like 12, 13. came out, and they were like okay with it. It was like kind of weird, but they were a little bit confused because like I had previously had a boyfriend, so they did have me go to counseling at one point because I think they thought I was just like confused, but that was very short, very quick. And after that, I mean, they were very accepting. Like if I had a partner, they'd be like, oh, you can invite them over, whatever. It just wasn't like comfortable to talk about. It always felt like just like it was swept under the rug.
Yeah.
But now that I'm an adult, like it's like they clearly see, okay, this is who I am. And especially since I'm in like, you know, this mature relationship where it's actually healthy, they're really seeing, okay, cool. And our relationship has definitely improved because of my relationship with Tiffany, because they see it as more positive, and it is more positive. And also like, okay, guys, like I'm 29, like this is not a game anymore. Like I've been out for 17 years. Like it's not a phase. I'm not confused. Like this is
it.
Serious, guys. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, cool. Now, how did you and your partner now meet?
So we met on the beautiful app Her. So we it's kind of a funny story because, you know, I was scrolling and like I got to her profile and I was like, I really wasn't impressed, to be honest. I was like, But then, like, I don't know what made me do it, but I was like, okay. So I just swiped on her, and she, like, jumped on me in my DMs. Like, as soon as I swiped, she's like, oh, hey, I'm so glad we matched. All, like, nerdy. I was like, okay, well. we just talked for a little bit, because she just didn't, like, have good communication. So I was like, I'm not sure about her. Like, but like we kind of moved quickly. She like asked me on a date, like right away. We went on a date, but that date was like the best date of my life. We're on a date for 9 hours. Like we always tell this story because it's
a full-time job.
It was like we clocked in and then clocked out. It was crazy. Like we went for dinner and then we just sat and talked the whole time. And then we went to a bar and drank, and we shut down that bar. And then we went to a hookah lounge and, you know, shut down the hookah lounge, and then went to a club, shut down the club. And we're like, it was kind of funny because we're like trying to find more places to hang out. And the only place that was open was a strip club. So we're like, okay, let's go to the strip club.
Oh, that's awesome.
But then we drove all the way to the strip club and it was closed. So that was a mess.
Y'all tried though.
We tried.
That's important.
So my question would be, I mean, spending 9 hours with someone you don't know very well. So did y'all go home separate?
We did.
Oh, okay.
We did go home separate. So that's like, I like to talk about that part because people are like, okay, 9 hours, y'all just smashed. Okay, cool. No, y'all. 9 hours, all we did was talk for 9 hours and just move locations because they kept closing on us. Like, so yeah, we did not go home together that night. It was 4:00 in the morning when we're finally like, okay, nothing is open. Like, we're gonna go home. So
Okay.
That's awesome. Okay.
All right.
Now,
Oh,
go ahead. You got it.
I feel like you've been talking a lot.
I have been.
So we're getting up to, you know, the end of the interview, and so we're gonna have some wrap-up questions here. Were there anything else you wanted to address?
No.
Okay.
I think this is great. Getting to know her.
All right. So I'm gonna start off. Okay. What would you say is your best money habit?
All right, my best money habit. So I've been doing this for a while. So, like as far as like my salary, I just have like a good idea of how much I need to use and how much I can actually save. So as soon as that direct deposit hits, I decide on my transfer amount per month and I move it immediately. Whatever I have left is what I have left. It's like I pretend like I'm broke.
Right.
So whatever's in my savings, it's not there. I don't see it. Whatever's in my checkings is what I have. So shoot, if I have $100 left, I have $100 left. I need to make it work. I'm not dipping into that savings account. So that has really helped me a lot. That's a huge recommendation. As soon as you get paid, move that money to your savings and pretend like it's not even there. And then just use what you have. Like once you have less to use in your checkings is when you actually start to make better money decisions.
Better spending decisions.
Right. When you're at the store and you see that cute whatever, but of course, yeah, your savings account is like pretty, but in your checking is not. So you can't buy that.
Right.
So maybe next month. But
right.
So that has really definitely helped me as far as savings. I'm actually really good at saving
That's awesome.
because I'll put money in that savings account and it is dead to me.
That's awesome.
It's like not even there.
We
So.
definitely want to throw a plug in there because we do have a financial services company. Definitely want to get with Shenice maybe later and give you some cool habits on what you can do in savings and make sure it's growing like you need it to grow.
Yes.
All right. So next question is, what does self-care mean to you? And what does that look like for you?
So self-care, at the beginning, it looked like doing like very superficial things for myself, like going to get my nails done, going shopping, getting massage. But now that I'm a little bit older, I see self-care as just being true to myself. So for example, if I'm tired and say I don't want to do so-and-so today, then I'm not. I'm going to be true to myself and love myself enough to just be like, okay, I'm not going to do that today. I'll do that tomorrow. Right. So that has been a huge thing for me. Also, aside from that, definitely treating myself. But now that I'm older, I treat myself in different ways. Like starting this business was a treat to myself. It was like self-care because, when you start a business, you're investing money. You have to fork up the money first. Right. And that was a treat to myself. That was part of self-care. I was like, no, I've worked hard this year. I deserve that. I deserve it. Definitely. This is what's going to make me happy. I love myself. I deserve this for me.
Yeah, I love that you think about, just going back to you talking about that generational wealth, you starting a business, like those are treats for you. That's so like, I think evolved and mature to think of that as a treat instead of like hair, nails, makeup. Not saying anything is wrong with any of that. Some people really, truly do get a lot from those type of things. But you have the bigger picture in mind. You have, the things that are rewarding, not instantaneously, because it's like, you go get your hair or your nails done, you instantly feel that reward, right? But you starting a business, you're not going to actually feel, even though you've had a successful start, right? So you're already feeling the rewards. However, how long were you preparing for this business, and what was that like? It was at 3, 4, 5, 8 months, you don't feel the reward right then and there, So I love how evolved that is of you. So that's good.
All right, next question. What advice would you give to someone in the LGBTQ plus community that wants to advance in their career or level up their business?
To advance in your career, number one, I would say don't be afraid to be yourself. I definitely want to also say, I know it's easier for some versus others, as a feminine presenting lesbian, it is somewhat easier for me than, for example, a transgender woman, that I definitely see that I have some more privileges in that. But 100% don't be afraid to be yourself, because somebody is going to be there to support you, and somebody's going to respect you for being yourself and help you elevate. And there are spaces and places for you that are designed for you. And also, if not, there's a lawsuit. So that too. Something that inspired me to come out to my students is that, like, just previously, before, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a lawsuit about that teacher who got fired for saying that she had a partner, and she got like this $20,000 settlement from her school district.
Oh, wow. No,
Yeah.
I didn't even know about that. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the world is like waking up, like,
Right.
and, you know, when people start to pay, they start to finally get into their heads that that was not okay and it should not be practiced. And, you know, we gotta change things. So
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's, you know, as far as my school district, there is in the clause in the policy, the school statement about inclusivity. So shoot, they could discriminate if they want. I got this paper. See
Right.
that says you're not allowed to discriminate because of my sexual orientation. So I would say for people in the LGBT community to research those policies in your company or your area, and, you know, speak up for yourself.
Right.
Okay? Don't be afraid. I mean, I'm grateful. It's 2020. We have more rights than we had. We don't have all the rights, but we have more rights. So let's use them.
Right.
Use them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my advice. Just be yourself.
Awesome. Love it. Do you have a favorite book or a favorite podcast you listen to, even YouTube channel, anything? Is there something that really sticks out to you that you love?
Not really. Okay. I'm trying to think of books. I haven't had much time to read, but like one book that really sticks out to me, that if you are a part of the LGBTQ, it's a really cute book. It's called Annie on My Mind. I don't know if you've ever heard about this book.
Annie
on My Mind. Yeah.
Okay.
It's about,
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a really cute book. It was, I think it was from like the 80s, about two women who like fall in love. And it's just like one of those cute little romance books. It's like one of them, it's like their first, and the other one is like, you know, like one just, she's been a lesbian. She like turns her out a little bit. It's cute.
Oh,
It's not like one of those. It's just about like vulgarness, but it's just about like love and finding yourself and being true to yourself. It's a really cute book.
Okay, I'm gonna find that one.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Last question. What do you like to do in your spare time?
In my spare time, what do I like to do? I'm trying to think pre-COVID, because now it's like, okay, so let me think pre-COVID. I truly love to travel, even if it's like one town over, one state over. I love to take day trips, weekend trips, anything. If not that, I also have a bike. I like to go on bike rides. Hiking is fun. As far as being indoors, what do I like to do? I love cooking. There we go. I love cooking. So again, I am vegan. So like cooking as vegan is kind of tricky, but it's like, it's fun to me to try to find replacements for things and to try to
It's your creative juices flowing.
She likes challenges. That's what I noticed in
Yeah.
this whole interview.
Yeah.
You like challenges. So
Yes, yeah, I do love a challenge. Like the other day, like one of my biggest challenges as far as like cooking and baking, I made what was that? Okay, vegan blueberry cheesecake, but it was like double layered. One label was blueberry, the other layer was lemon, and it had like blueberries and lemon zest on top, and it was all like everything was vegan. So it was like, it was so much fun to just like to figure that out and to get right, to taste right. Yeah, it was really fun.
While you're traveling, I know you said you really love to travel. You also said that you had lived in Switzerland for a year, right? So was that like plans for you to travel there, or how did that work?
So it started off as a plan that I wanted to just reward myself and take like a 2-week like backpacking through Europe. And then, you know, with my relationship, I was looking for a way out. And it was just one of those relationships where like sadly, like you needed to move to get out of it. Like you needed to literally like change your name.
Right.
So it just all came together and I was like, you know what? Instead of this backpacking trip, I'm just gonna move. So, you know, it took me a few months to prepare, of course, and to plan it. And then, yeah, it just turned into like, I just want to live somewhere else. I want to try to be somewhere other than America.
But now you're back. So.
But now I'm back. And it's the same stuff going on.
Have you ever been to Texas?
I have been to Texas. You know what? I'm sorry, but everything is not bigger in Texas. Okay? And I'm so I just can't.
What part did you visit?
So I've been to Austin and Houston, and I think
North Carolina over Houston?
I just I don't like it. I don't like it. But you know what? Maybe I wasn't in the right part.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't in the right
Houston
part.
is really, really big. Austin is pretty small, but Houston is really, really big. So you gotta be able to find your spot.
Yeah, maybe I wasn't in the right spot. But Austin didn't impress me much. It was very like whitewashed and like it was just hipsters everywhere. You know,
I can agree with that.
Really short shorts, and that was it was a lot.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Houston over Austin. A lot of people will hate me for that, but you know, I really do. I love Houston. It's like it is a melting pot. You know, we're one of the largest cities in America. I think 4th largest. So
oh wow,
huge. So how long were you here for?
Not long enough. Just a few days. I might have to do. I might have to like do a
take you down good old Washington Midtown area. You know, the food here is very diverse, even though Shenice says the Chinese food is not as good as New York's Chinese food.
The Chinese food is awful here,
but
from what I've tried,
yeah.
I probably need to go to Chinatown in Houston.
It's so much to do in Houston.
Yeah,
and,
we love it.
I've been in Texas my whole life, so I might kind of have a bias. You know.
But I haven't. I grew up in New York, so I love it here. I love it here. Absolutely love it. So, all right, Leah. So just tell us how our audience can get in touch with you, how they can follow you, how they can reach out to you. Give us anything you'd like on that.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, definitely check out my business. If you're a woman or if you're not a woman, there's a woman in your life who could use natural hair care products. So follow me on Instagram, on Facebook at LoveLeahOrganics. And that's Leah with an H, and the organics is plural. But yeah, check me out. Check out my products. That's the same handle as my Etsy store, which is the platform that I'm using to sell currently. So that's the same for all the platforms. Check me out. Love Leah Organics.
And you said Etsy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. All righty. All right. Well, we really greatly appreciate you being our guest today. This was a lot of fun. So good to learn so much more about you and your journey. And obviously, you're now engaged. And wait, we didn't even get that story. Tell us real quick. How did that happen? Real quick.
Oh, engagement? Okay, real quick. Okay, so after we met, you know, I still had my travel bug. I was like, okay, we need to go. So I was like, let's go backpacking. So she said, okay. She's always like, oh, okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm always taking her on crazy rides. So we went backpacking through Central America. We went to Guatemala and Belize. And we went backpacking for a month. And so then in Belize, is when she proposed. She woke me up way too early, and she's like, okay, we're gonna go walk. We're gonna go watch the sun rise on the beach. And we went out on the beach, and what did she say? She's like, let me take a picture of you or something. So I was like walking out to the beach, like, okay, sure. And then I turn around and she was on her knee.
Oh,
And then
so cute.
yeah, and that was really cute. It was like at the sunrise, and it was really beautiful. And it was like towards the end of our 1 month journey. So she had like carried around the ring like the whole month. It was like the last week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cute. I love it. I love it. Y'all seem like soulmates from what you told me. This seems you're gonna go backpacking for a whole month with someone, you know. That's
I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't rainbow and butterflies. I wanted to throw her like off of the airplane, but I think that's what it's about, you know. She's not perfect, but we love each other and we work hard to make it work.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay. So I think we're all wrapped up, huh? You have anything else, Shan?
No, just want to wish her luck on her, new endeavor.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I could give me some of these hair care products.
Yes, for those curls. Get those curls popping.
And of course, thank you for being such a blessing to our kids out there. Society, life can be hard, and it can be really hard on the kids. So thank you for, being a teacher at a Title I school and trying to really just open these kids' hearts, minds, and bringing them so much positive energy and light. That's so important. So want to thank you. Wish you,
so
of
many
course,
things
the
we could
best.
tell you. Just the fact that you're LGBT and you're rocking it. So we really want to highlight that as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, of course.
yeah.
So well, we will see you next time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.
Like, subscribe, and share the video to your friends. In the comment section down below, write how good the video was.
And if you're listening to the podcast, make sure to hit a 5-star review.
Bye!